Good morning, everybody. It's 5 minutes past 10, and I propose that we will start. We expect more people to join, but they will be connected in the coming minutes, hopefully. I hope that you can all see my screen, but I think that's all okay. Today, we're going to talk about Cascade funding, which is a means to acquire European funding. And we have a fully loaded program. Thank you all that you can join the webinar. We had more than 100 registrations. And it's very satisfying to see that 80% are SMEs, small companies, which is the prime focus group of this webinar. First of all, your microphones should be muted by default. I think the system is doing that. When you have questions, you can pose your questions in the chat or raise your hands. I cannot promise that we will be able to answer all your questions during the webinar, but we will answer your questions after the webinar should there be any remaining. For the speakers, when you would like to present, you can turn on your camera, and also you can unmute your phone yourself. And the session is now being recorded. Everybody will receive the slide deck after the webinar. The agenda looks as follows. I will do a short introduction. Then my colleague from Paul Mecatech, Thibault, will explain the fundamentals of Cascade funding. Then we will hear a very inspiring testimonial from RoboTwin, a company that has already acquired and has a project running in Cascade funding. Then 3 projects, European projects, will be explained, which currently have open calls or will be opening calls for Cascade funding. And at the end, we will have a company pitching session where 8 different pitches will be explained. And hopefully this pitching session will be a platform for matchmaking after the webinar, and will also inspire you to get in touch with each other. At the end, there will be a short Q&A. So any urgent questions, I propose to raise them after the presentations, but questions that can wait in the Q&A. And then we can hopefully stop at 11:30. Okay, first of all, a few words on European Digital Innovation Hubs. I will call them EDIs in the remaining part of my presentation and what they do on funding support. My name is Ger. I work for Flanders Make. Flanders Make is a research institute in Flanders. We work for the manufacturing industry. I won't elaborate on that. You can always contact me should you want to know more about Flanders Make. But we are the coordinator of an EDI called Digitalis, which works for the industry in Flanders. Now, EDIs are regional hubs. In most cases, an EDI consists of different partners. It's a consortium of partners, complementary knowledge. And they have one single goal to get companies or even public institutions more digital. At this moment, there are 254 EDIs in Europe. Every single member state has one or more EDIs active in the member state and in the region. So as I said, the prime goal is to raise the digital maturity of a certain target group, and they aim to build capacity. So when you have questions related to digitalization projects, training, etc., you can easily contact your regional hub. The contact should be very low threshold, so it should be very easy to contact your regional hub and get help. One of the services that a hub will bring to you is also the funding and financing in the market. So many of these hubs are working on inspiring you to get your project funded. What's very important to say is that these 254 hubs are connected via a European Digital Innovation Hubs network. You will find the link to the website of this network below. And very important, on this portal, this website, there is a catalog. So you can very easily find the hubs in your region with the contact persons and connect with them. So very important to remember, these 254 hubs are there to help you to raise your digital capacity. Now, on access to funding services, where this webinar is all about, there are several services which a hub can bring to the market. First of all, general information on financing opportunities. That's basically what this webinar is about. General info on what are the opportunities to get your project funded. Also, identification of funding potential. What we do in Digitalis is we help a company to determine whether a certain project is liable for funding. So we help them to get also the project funded. Also connect SMEs with the right funding organizations. Being an SME, you will recognize that it's not very easy to get funded either by a regional funding agency, let alone in Europe. It's very elaborate, lots of administration, etc., etc. But the EDIs are there to help you with that. Set up your proposal. We don't write the proposal for you, but we can access and review the proposal. And also, it's not only on funding, but what we in Digitalis do is also support companies, should it be necessary, to get private equity and the connection with venture capitalists, preparing a pitch for such venture capitalists and training on pitching. So important to know here is that the EDIs are there for you, that they can help you get funded, and that they also can help you with your technological project, should it be necessary. Now, on the next slide, I will give the word to my colleague from Paul Mecatech, Thibaut van Roden, and Thibaut will explain Cascade funding, the fundamentals of Cascade funding in a few words. Thibaut?
Oh. Thank you, Ger, for giving me the floor, and good morning, everyone. I'm Thibaut van Roden from Mecatech, and from the Walloon EDI Wall Hub. So it's similar to what Ger explained. It's similar type of services that Ger has explained very well. Now, a few words about Cascade funding and this mechanism, because this is the mechanism that is used with the three calls that are going to be presented just afterwards. Cascade funding is also known as third-party funding, and it's a mechanism that's been defined by the Commission. And what is it? Well, it's basically, you have to see it as a mini call for project, which is organized by a consortia of partners, which has itself one, say, a European project. So if you if you apply it to these calls of Cascade funding, and if you win it, you contractualize not with the Commission, but with let's say, the consortium. What is interesting about this type of format, this type of activity, is that typically you're speaking here about projects that you can apply, which are of relatively high TRL. So it's quite, let's say, useful and ideal to develop projects such as a proof of concept, for example, on industrial level. And these projects are of quite high TRL normally. So we're speaking here about TRL, which are usually between 6 to 9, which is the duration between 3 to 9 months. What you need to keep in mind is that because, let's say, these open calls are organized by this consortium, the scope, the eligibility rules, and everything, it changes depending on each consortia. But there's a couple of, let's say, common rules that you'll find throughout these Cascade funding. So typically, we start to explain to you about the TRL level. This is quite true for all the mechanism. The amount of money that you get normally, it ranges an average between 10,000 euros to 60,000, 70,000 euros. It depends, sometimes a bit more, but this is what you get. So it's good for proof of concepts. It typically, and this is very important, Gerrit explained it, this is typically a type of call which is targeted at SMEs. Sometimes SMEs, universities can take part via subcontracting. It depends on the call, and you will have to listen carefully to what our speakers are going to present you to see about this. And this is, I think, pretty much in a nutshell what you can say about this. What is very positive about this is, as you can see, the amount of money that we're talking about are fairly, let's say, small compared to big grants, but it's a completely different product. High TRL, And very important, you can show the next slide, Ger. It's that these calls, they are fairly easy, let's say, to apply. You're talking most of the time of application forms, which are quite small because it's usually a 10-pager. Sometimes, depending on the decision of the consortium, you don't have financial reporting to be done, so it's easy for an SME, for small SMEs that don't have the time to apply for the large Horizon Europe, etc. project. That's a good first step to try and to apply for these grants, to get connection at the European level and to launch yourself into this. In Wallonia, we've worked on this type of mechanism since 10 years now, and the feedback that we have from SMEs is that it's very popular around them. I'll stop here because I see I've reached the time, but if you have questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. Pat, I think I'm giving you the floor back.
Thank you, Thibaut, for explaining the Cascade funding principle. That was very clear. So I hope in the audience that you now have a basic idea of what is an EDI, how can it help you, and what is the fundamentals of Cascade funding. Now I would like to move to RoboTwin, Miggy, who will explain her experiences as a co-founder and CTO of RoboTwin with a Cascade-funded project. Miggy, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. As was introduced, my company, RoboTwin, made experience with one Cascade funding quite recently, and that was one that was available through AirRush project, and that's what I would like to talk about in the next 10 to 15 minutes. First, I would like to introduce us. If we can move to the slide. Yes, so we are a small startup, so by the definition also SME, but really a startup. So we are about 15 team members. I'm one of the three co-founders and working as a CTO. Currently, we are based in Prague, Czech Republic, and we focus on developing solutions and tools for no-code robot programming. And the AirRush call that I want to talk about was like very fitting to our scope and our focus, which is actually one of the good advantages of Cascade funding. But I will get to the details later on. The AirRush had 2 open calls, and we participated in the second one. The project actually ended like 3 weeks ago, so I have the full experience with the whole process. So first of all, what is the Cascade funding in this particular case, and what is AirRush and what was the role of AirRush? The Cascade funding is like a middle step between the EU grants and projects and you as a beneficiaries. How the whole story starts is that the EU, the Commission, decides that there are certain topics or domains that they would like to focus on and they would like to support, and they give this like high level description of this topic and this domain is now of importance for us. And the consortia of like entities then can come and say, okay, in this topic, we can think of a scope for a particular project or like a particular assignment or like particular challenges that we can define in terms of this scope. What is really nice that this consortia is made out of experts of these typical domains, so they can very well spot like good particular challenge in that topic or in that domain, and that way the project that they offer to you to participate in is well defined and is very specific, which helps you obviously to understand, is my solution fitting, is my company fitting? It helps you also to structure the application for the call because it's like already targeted to some particular list of challenges or objectives defined by the experts in that domain. What you also can get are different provided tools or frameworks. So again, like if the EU decides robotics is a domain we want to focus on, they don't have themselves experts developing different tools that you may need when working on these challenges. So that's why the consortia is helpful, because it's already composed of experts who have some research background or commercial background, it doesn't matter, but they can already have developed some tools or frameworks that you might then find useful during focusing on the challenges. And in our case, in the Arashi case, it was also coaching provided by the consortia. So not only the challenge specification and the tools, but also like very well targeted help of coaches that improved the success potential of us solving the challenges. From the administrative kind of like how it works on like the practical level, the funds are also redistributed in this cascade way. So it's not that you would be having agreement with EU, but you are actually having agreement with the consortia who is in between you and EU, and they also then redistribute the funds. Also, the process of the application is managed by the consortia. So as was said, it can have like very different process from the official and formal one that you may experience when you apply directly to EU. So in our case, the open call was the open call was all around these challenges that the Arashi consortia defined. You can see a screenshot of one of them in the slide. So they basically didn't want us to apply for topic, but they wanted to choose particular challenge and write the application so that we describe how we would solve the challenge. I didn't explain what Arashi stands for. So Arashi stands for Embodied AI Robotics Applications for Safe and Human-Oriented Industry. And as you can see, this is already very specific topic or like specific focus. And that was really nice for us, because we said, okay, this is exactly the technology that we developed. Our solution fits very nicely, and we felt like well motivated to apply for this open call, because we saw that there we will meet people who understand our domain, who understand our solution, and we were expecting that the work will be like very smooth and efficient, and it was actually exactly that case. One specific thing about Arashi, it might not be in the other calls as well. They also provided like a pieces of technology. They call it building blocks. So like really like pieces of software. Pieces of software or even hardware that we could incorporate into our solution. So it's really like beneficial in this type of funding, that you already are presented a challenge like well thought through by experts in that domain, and you might even get some like additional tools or like building blocks for your solution to start with. So to sum up our experience, like we have experience also with different projects. So I think that from my perspective, the comparison is really quite relevant. Obviously, there are pros and cons. The biggest pros for me is that the focus of the call is very specific, and the objectives are like well described, and you can easily see whether you fit or not fit the objectives, which helps you to structure the application. And also it increases your chances for being accepted compared to applying for like very open call with a non-well-defined scope, because you know that in the committee, in the jury, you will meet people who already understand this particular challenge, who understand this topic, and who will have understanding for your technology that you are trying to bring in. Another advantage are the ready-made technology building blocks that I mentioned, and the coaching services. And also on the slide, you can see that there were like many different members of the consortia from which we could get the know-how, get the coaching, and get some support. I'm not saying that we used all of them, But it was actually very nice because if you apply for a classical Horizon Europe project, you are kind of on your own in there. But here there were already people who had very relevant know-how and we could source from them. So for example, the CEA, like we get the coaching regarding eco design, how we can build our product to be more like ecologically friendly. Or we had Ikarlan in the partners, and they were helping us with adoption of some robotic tools like ROS1, ROS2, and so on. There was also quite a lot of events regarding fundraising and like the business side, because it was also already mentioned, many of these Cascade fundings are for like the last mile development and they target you towards commercialization phase. It is usually not the case for the other like direct EU funds maybe, but here it was really nice. So we were even invited to some events to pitch for investors and get some traction with commercial VCs. Reporting, the last thing, it depends again on the consortia. So the way how you are reporting your results is defined by the consortia partner. In our case, we had a project manager and we were meeting, I think, once a month. It was more like to say how we're proceeding and if we need any additional support. So they were in general very helpful. And again, as they are kind of experts in that domain, they can give you very relevant advices. And in our case, it was a lump sum financing model, which makes it very easy in like bookkeeping later on. Yeah, so that was like from the experience that we have made, and maybe if I still have like 1 minute, I can show you actually what we were working on, so that you also have a better understanding of what the AirAship project was about and what human-centered robotics means and what we do. So I'll play this short video that shows it nicely. So we were developing a solution that helps people to automate their production and is very well integrated into their production line. And how we help people to program robots without coding is that we give them this tool with sensors that helps them to demonstrate trajectory that they want the robot to do. And just by this simple demonstration, we are able to generate a functional robotic program that is then well integrated into the production line and can be executed by the robot so that the operation that used to be done manually is now automated. You can see that in the video, it's like me taking the picture because it's from some like pilot testing at the end of the project. And I think that I can sum up that the AirAship really helped us a lot to advance this technology. They also helped us doing some technology acceptance questionnaires with the pilots, and like they were really like pushing us towards successful product and the commercialization phase. So I can only recommend. Don't be afraid of getting Cascade funding through partners, and it can be very good opportunity for your development and your product.
Thank you so much, Maggie, for this inspiring story. Maybe a small question from my side. Have you been collaborating with other companies or other partners in your project, or was it a single company project?
It was a single company project, but we were closely collaborating with the partner from the consortia. So Ikarlan was our partner who provided the building block, and they were also doing the matchmaking when we needed some coaching or like extra advice.
Okay, thank you so much. Are there any other questions to Maggie at this moment? Urgent questions? No, then I propose to go to the next part of the program, and then I will share my screen again. If it works, it works. Hooray for the technology. Okay, so now we are entering a part of the program where different Cascade funded projects will be explained. and they are very relevant because these projects currently have open calls which you can submit your project to. So we start with the Magician project, and that will be explained by Margherita and Francesca. Who can I give the floor?
I will start. I will introduce myself. I'm Francesca Paspolino. I'm a European project consultant, Zabala Brussels, Innovation Brussels. I will today talk about Magician project, in which Zabala participates as a Cascade funding partner. First, I will talk briefly about Magician. Magician, we develop robotic solution to classify and rework defects from semi-finished products in the manufacturing fields. Maybe if we can go ahead with the slides. Sorry. Yeah, this is the table of contents. And next one. Next one, sorry. It's a long. So we develop a robotic solution to classify rework defects from semi-finished products. It focuses on two, let's say, the next slides, maybe. Yeah, sorry. Two model robotic solution, a sensing robot for defects analysis and a clinical robot for rework defects. Within the AI models to perform associated operation. In the next slides, we'll talk about the Cascade funding opportunities of Magician. Magician will launch 2 open calls. The first one was launched in February 2025, and right now the activities are about to start. The second open call is planned to be launched in December 2025 until March 2026. And the goal is extending the application of Magician to 5 new use cases. Will be selected 5 projects for an implementation of 12 months, and each project will have a budget of 200K. Next slides. The targeted companies of the second of the both open calls are SMEs and startups. The eligible countries are, of course, the European Union member states and the rights in Europe associated countries. Natural entities are not allowed to apply, but just SMEs and startups, according to the definition of Horizon Europe. In the next slides, we'll talk about how the entities can apply to the open calls as a single entity or as a consortium composed by 2 entities, but only one will act as a coordinator and as point of contact of Magician counterparts. Next slide. Here we'll talk about the evaluation process. There will be 3 different criteria: excellence, impact, implementation, quality. The steps of the evaluation will be the external expert evaluation, the business case evaluation, and the Magician evaluation committee composed by the partner of the Magician project. Each criteria will have assigned a score from 1 to 5. The minimum threshold is 9 out of 15. And in case of same score, the ranking depends on the best value assigned to excellence, so to the innovation. The open call will close in March 2026, and 5 projects will be selected. The notification are planned to arrive in May 2026, and each applicant will receive summary evaluation report with some improvement suggestion, and in case of positive results, the next step info for the implementation. Next slides. This is the fund scheme for the SME. The funding rate is of 70%. And for startups is up to 100%. There are 3 stages of financing. The first one is 50%, and it's at the beginning of the implementation of the activities. The intermediate payment of 35% following the submission of a status report, and the final payment of 15% following the conclusion of the implementation and, of course, the achievement of milestones and deliverables. Next slide. the 5 projects selected will sign a sub-grant agreement before the implementation of the activities will start with the kickoff meeting. And the activities plan to start in June 2026 for 12 months, so until June 2027. Here we have the website of Magician, where there are some information of the open calls, and will be published all the documents related to the second open call. You can also give a look to the documents of the first open call to have an idea also about the evaluation process that will be the same. And this is all. Thank you. I don't know if there are some questions.
Yeah, are there any urgent questions for Francesca? Okay, that was very clear, Francesca. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Then we will move to the next presentation, which is Cosmic. Anka, the floor is yours.
Okay, good morning. Thank you, Gar. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. Thank you to the organizers for inviting us to present the Cosmic project. The set has already been set, and the stage has already been set, so you already got an understanding from previous speakers that Cosmic is, next slide please, is a Horizon Europe funded program, funded project. And the main objective here is to demonstrate how artificial intelligence and big data technologies can drive the optimization of energy resources across various industries and regions. Everything has to be aligned within the goals of the European Green Deal. So with this objective in mind, the Cosmic partners, the consortium that formed around this idea, along their own work on developing and testing innovative solutions in energy optimization, we are also looking to identify those third parties, SMEs and startups in our case, that can bring their own ideas, their own technology and innovation within the ecosystem of Cosmic. So for this scope, we are launching 2 open calls. And the first one is ongoing right now. We are looking for replicable and scalable solutions that can start with the validation within our 15 pilots in Cosmic, and then they have the potential to go to market and extend their solutions to other industries and regions. So for this objective, there are 21 partners in the consortium. 15 of them are pilots, and we got a financing of up to 10 million euros from the Commission. And as it was very nicely explained by Maggie before, part of this money, 4 million euros, is going to SMEs and startups. The project is for 36 months, and it just started this year in January with an end date at the end of 2027. So for the first open call, which was launched on the 18th of August with a deadline on the 27th of October, so plenty of time. Maggie also mentioned, and I appreciate that this is a very simple process, and I think Thibault also said it. It's an easier process to apply, so we're on the 23rd of September right now, more than 1 month to learn about Cosmic and apply it in more than enough time. So for this open call, we are trying to identify those solutions that are a very good fit. If you can get just 1 second back, which are a very good fit to the Cosmic ecosystem in terms that they address one of the 17 challenges that we are launching for this call. And we want to find the best fit proposals with 20 SMEs and startups to be eventually selected for this open call. Next slide, please. In our case, we are looking for individual SMEs and startups. We are not looking for consortia or teams. And they have to have a solution of technology starting from a TRL 3 when they submit a proposal. The ambition is for this applicants to start at a TRL of 3 or higher, and during the lifetime of the project with the execution within 10 months, supported by the COSMIC technical partners, they would get to a TRL 6 or 7. We also have this provision, like as you've seen in Magician before, for SMEs and startups. We provide financing of up to 150,000 euros, and for for-profit SMEs, they only get 70% financing, and they have to do the 30% co-financing. Not for-profit SMEs and startups will get 100% financing. How do you know if you're a for-profit, not for-profit? If you share dividends at the end of the year, you're a for-profit entity. Only SMEs and startups are eligible, and they have to be EU member states or Horizon Europe associated countries. Next slide, please. So in addition to the funding, which is 150,000 euros lump sum, it was explained earlier what a lump sum is. You don't have to provide any accountancy documents, any contracts or timesheets. It's paid in 4 stages against deliverables, approval of the deliverables that are being coordinated with the mentors from COSMIC. So the support program will last for 10 months, and the opportunity is for the selected SMEs to join COSMIC project and deploy their solutions, validate their solution, test and validate their solutions within one or several of the 15 large-scale pilots across Spain, Belgium, Portugal, France, Ireland, or Finland. Next slide, please. We are now, as I mentioned, we are now in the middle of the first open call, and after the deadline, we expect an evaluation period of 4 months, which includes a jury day. So pre-selected applicants will be invited to a pitching competition. We expect around 40 pre-selected applicants to join the jury day, and out of those, we are going to select the best 20 proposals to join the support program. Another useful information, I believe, here is that at the application stage, you don't need to submit any documentation of your company, any registration documents or anything. You would be asked to provide that only if you have been selected. So the activities, as mentioned before, are in line with COSMIC's mission, that is to optimize large-scale resource and the management of electricity resources across various industries and regions. And we are looking to develop these solutions, AI and database. Then the integration and facilitation part will be happening during the lifetime of the project, and the testing and validation within the pilots. The 4th and last stage of the program includes business mentoring part, where specialized mentors will be providing assistance for go-to-market beneficiaries, those that have been selected for the project. Next slide. I've already been through this. It's a 10-month support program, technical mentoring, solution development, pilot testing, and the market readiness and exploitation will be the last part of the 4 months. After each of these 4 stages, the tranche of payment will be released according to the validation of the deliverable. The application process is very straightforward and doesn't take a lot of time. You can go to the platform on the Funding Box site, and here you will find the guide for applicants and the technical guidelines, which include information about the challenges and the pilots. By creating an account in a few seconds, you'll get to the application form, and there you can start the application. You can submit it before the deadline, edit it as many times as you need before the deadline again. And we accept up to 3 submissions for the same SMEs, but only one would be funded. Only the best one would be funded. 1 proposal per challenge. So you cannot mix between the 17 challenges and present just 1 proposal. Better present 3 proposals, 1 for each of the 3 challenges that are most appropriate for you. And next slide. These are the supporting documents that you can find on in the ecosystem for the application form. And the guide for applicants provides a full overview on the eligibility criteria. You have some examples of ideal projects for you to help you relate. And the technical guidelines are of utmost importance because there you understand what the pilots are about, how they work together, and how these 70 challenges that you intend to address connect to the pilots within the project. Here you find all our information. You can scan the QR and get directly to the application form, or read the documentation, or follow us on LinkedIn for more information. Thank you all for your time. I don't know if there are questions, sorry.
Any questions for Anka? So these, Anka, are really single company projects, eh? You cannot cooperate, and the subcontracting is also not in the call, I think, eh?
They can subcontract up to 15% of the budget. However, they shouldn't subcontract essential tasks. Like we as a consortium will be engaging in a sub-grant agreement, and the only beneficiary here will be the SME, the applicant. So if they subcontract essential parts or very large parts of their work, we don't have any control over that, and that can be prejudicing the entire process and the support program. So subcontracting, yes, but limited to 15%.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Then I suggest that we go to the next project, the last one, which is Wasabi. And then I'm going to give the floor to Marco, who will explain the Wasabi project. Marco, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning to everybody. This is Marco Azzadio from Innovalia, project manager. And it is a big pleasure to present you the Wasabi project and open call that we are carrying out. Okay, so just a quick overview about the Wasabi project. So Wasabi is a project funding under Horizon Europe, begins in 2023. And it will finish 2027, and the main goal here is to be focused on digital intelligent assistant solution based on human AI collaboration to be applicable especially in the manufacturing sector. So our challenge is to develop a series of components to be later promoted to small, medium enterprise and mid-caps manufacturers in Europe in order to assist them in develop digital intelligence assistants and supporting any type of manufacturing process. In order to do so, we launch within the project two open call. One has been already launched last year, indeed the experiment are in the execution phase. While there is another one that has been launched in August 7 and will be closed in October 9. Next slide, please. So just to provide you some information at a glance about the second open call, as I told you before, the second one was launched in August 7 and will be closed on October 9, meaning that there are at least other 2 weeks to present an application. In case a consortium will be selected, the expected duration of the experiment is 12 months. For this open call, we have a total budget of 1,500,000 euro, but for each experiment we can finance up to 125,000 euro. Who can apply? I can give you later information about this, but in general we are looking for consortia composed of 2 up to 3 entities, and the maximum amount for each entity is around 60,000 euro. And as for the other open calls, also in this case, the funding is provided through a lump sum model. Next slide, please. So who can apply? Again, as I told you before, our main sector is the manufacturing one. So this is the reason why to participate in the open call, we are looking for the consortium that must include at least one small, medium enterprise for the manufacturing sector, but also at least one digital innovation hubs. And then, as you can read, optionally, one IT provider. Why we are talking about optionally? Because depending on the experience and expertise the manufacturing small, medium enterprise has on IT sector, we could consider that there is not a need to include also an IT provider. But since there is the main scope to develop digital system solution, experience in IT is quite mandatory. Then, in terms of eligibility criteria, as usual, the main criteria is that all the legal entities of the consortium member must be established in one of the member states of the European Union, or at least in one of the Horizon European associated countries. Proposal must be submitted in English, submitted on time. And we also requested that all the applicants must declare adherence to the GDPR and AI Act. And also, as I told you before, the consortium must be composed at least by one small medium enterprise from the manufacturing sector and one digital innovation hub. There is a proposal to be filled in. There are three main criteria that we asked, which is three main section, which is technical excellence, impact, and implementation. And above all, we requested also the consortium to provide us information about the budget. And again, in this respect, please keep in mind that the maximum funding per experiment, as I told you before, is 1,025,000 euro. The maximum funding per partner is 60,000 euro. But then in terms of funding breakdown, please keep in mind that since our main goal is to promote digital assistant solution to small medium enterprise, we requested that at least 35% of the overall funding is allocated to small medium enterprise, meaning that the digital innovation hubs, even if it's mandatory to be involved in the consortium, their role is quite minimum. This is the reason why we could provide them up to 50% of the overall funding. Next slide, please. So in terms of the requirement, the technical one, and expectation, as I told you before, the main goal is to support the small medium enterprise in order to develop a digital assistant solution based on some components developed within the project by our technical experts. So in order to be selected, we requested the following to each consortium: to be able to develop a digital assistant to address a specific challenge in manufacturing, but also to create a Wasabi shop in order to distribute this skill to other small medium enterprise or mid caps that are interested in using for their process. As you can see, in the two main tasks, there are several components, which is the Ovo skill, the Docker composites. These are components that have been developed within the Wasabi project. We requested the experiment to use this component in order to facilitate this integration implementation internally to the Wasabi project. We also offer technical support to our technical partners. Next slide, please. Okay, so in case you are interested, please keep in mind that many information are provided in our webpage, which is Wasabi project. We also developed, as usual, documentation, including a guide for applicants, a frequently asked question. We also launch an help desk in case there are some doubts or inquiries that you need to be covered. The evaluation process, I told you before, the call will close on October 9, and then we have around 3 weeks to evaluate the application. Usually the evaluation process is assessed by two experts, one internal to the consortium and one external. A detailed list of the evaluation criteria is available in the guide for applicants. Once the evaluation process is finalized, we communicate the results in both cases, awardee or no awardee, and we provide also the evaluation summary report regardless the outcome. Once the evaluation process is finalized, then we have the next step is to prepare the contract. Just this. I think this is the last slide from my side.
Yes, that's correct, Mario. Thank you so much. Are there any questions for Mario at this moment? So you see, you have 3 examples of Cascade-funded projects. They all have their own scope and their own requirements, but they have in common that it's very easy to access them. And I also see that they have a help desk, all 3 projects, so they will help you applying. Well, the Magician project is still quite far away. The other ones are quite close, so hurry up to get your consortia together or your project together, and then you can still apply. Okay, the last phase of the webinar are the pitching sessions. We have 8 different pitches. Now, these pitching sessions are actually meant to stimulate collaboration. They hopefully will inspire you to create collaboration with colleague companies in the webinar or outside the webinar. And we would like to provide also a platform to do that after the webinar. There won't be very much time to really go into details of the pitches to discuss, but you will have the opportunity to do that after the webinar, because the contact details of the pitchers are at the bottom of the slides. So you can easily contact them or even contact your ADDIE to get in touch. I would like to ask, now we are going through the 8 presentations, 1-sliders. I would like to ask you to unmute yourself when you see the slide of your company existing here, show up. And we will start with flash tag. They are in random order. So John, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, loud and clear.
Good. Company Flashtag is an SME located in Nijmegen in the Netherlands. We originate from the industrial automation, especially climate chambers, heating processes, that kind of stuff. But the last couple of years, we focus more and more on AI software tooling that support those processes. And then we have developed a tool that's called ProtoBoost. That is a project and productivity booster. What it does basically, it collects all kind of unstructured information that you have in projects, and projects can be seen very broad. So that can be activities, that can be a management of a supplier or the contacts to a customer. When you collect all kind of unstructured data like mail threads, like chats, like all kind of communication that you have with such a customer, add the PDFs, the Excels, the even spoken voice. And we developed an app where you can speak your thoughts, collect even pictures, and that is all collected into an vector database. And then it starts becoming interesting, because then you can develop a lot of use cases on top of it. And that is the stage where we are currently in. So the platform is operational, and now we are in contact with several customers to develop pilot projects where you can connect it to structured data. And then you have to think about ERP software, CRM software, and more of those structures. So now we are starting to develop really, think, for example, about a quotation process. One of the companies says, yeah, making new quotations takes a lot of time, it's error prone. And how can a tool like ProtoBoost support on that? And now we are starting to develop for example, an AI agent on top of ProtoBoost to support over there. Yeah, the final goal is to have a kind of digital twin of organization. That's how I call it. So once I have all my projects in ProtoBoost and some other activities also, then ProtoBoost starts to know Flashtag maybe better than I do myself. That would be the final goal. So what we are looking for is partners that handle especially structured data, enterprise data, project data, and look to ways to improve their productivity, because a lot of information is in all the kind of mail threads. You can all imagine how that goes. and how we can make that information that is there more valuable to the structured project data. Basically, that was it.
Okay, thank you so much, John. Are there any questions for John at this moment? People can always contact you, John, I guess, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, interesting.
My mail is there.
Okay, thank you so much. Interesting story on FlashTech. The next one is Jump Energy. Jonas, are you there?
Hello, good morning. Thank you, Geert, for having us. I will do the presentation instead of Jonas. He had to excuse himself. Yeah. So I'm one of the co-founders of Jump Energy, and we build battery analytics software for electric motorbikes. So we're currently managing 400 batteries in Kenya. We are based in Belgium, and we are funded by EMEC iStart. But we also get more and more questions about battery management for larger scale batteries, so battery energy storage systems, which is also a booming market here in Europe. So we would like to build a brand independent tool for monitoring and optimizing these large battery assets. A good foundation is set already for these smaller batteries in emerging markets, but now we would like to translate it to bigger size batteries, which also comes with some challenges. In Kenya, we already have some AI anomaly detection, but for these bigger systems, we would like to build a digital twin to also predict more the behavior and the availability of the system. Who are we looking for? Actually, all different players that are in contact with some battery systems. This can be companies in energy management systems, which are optimizing energy streams. But it can also be companies in EV charging, which need batteries for supporting their chargers with capacity constraints. We're actually looking for all different players which are looking for optimizing their battery energy storage systems.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bart. Have you seen any relationship or connection to the projects which have just been presented?
Yes, I think the Cosmic project looks very interesting to us. I will have to discuss it with Jonas, but I'm quite sure we will apply for this project, Carl. Yes.
Okay, great, super. Good. There was one more slide on Jump.
Yes, it was a bit about the typical use case. So we are now in contact with B-Store. They offer batteries as a service, and they have currently a 20 megawatt hour battery plant in use, but they're also planning or have more than 300 megawatt hour of capacity in the pipeline. And this is one of the typical players or cases where these digital twins would be nice to see, to optimize the system, to see where there can be improvements. So there you go.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bart.
Thank you.
Now we will go to the next one. That's Tidewise. Raphael, the floor is yours. Raphael, are you there? I don't. Yeah. Unmute. Yes, unmute. Raphael is there and unmuted, but we don't hear anything. So for the time being, let's go to the next one. The circular rubber platform. Irene. Is Irene there?
Yes, I'm there. Hello.
Very good. Irene,
you.
the floor is yours. ID number 1. That means
I do have 2 ideas, so that's why the
Yeah.
numbering. So
Yeah.
I'm representing the circular rubber platform. So as part of the company profile, it's maybe good as an introduction to say that the footprint of rubber is high due to the origin of raw materials and the difficulty to recycle rubber. So the circular rubber platform is therefore making a circular rubber economy easy and accessible by knowledge sharing and networking and fostering collaboration. So all of this within the whole rubber industry. So with all roles participating in that rubber industry. So the platform presents solutions for rubber circularity, both online and during meetups, and actually is also actively connecting engineers, companies, and universities. And finally, we would like to work in project groups also to really close material loops. So as an internal small loop. So a shoe is being used, the rubber part of a shoe is being used to make another shoe, so to say. And this platform is circa 100 partners from countries all over the world. So the whole project idea is that we is actually the ultimate goal there is to prevent rubber from rubber waste to go into the garbage waste oven. So very often it's now still being burned in the oven, and we would like to connect recyclers that has waste to offer that has waste that they need. And this idea is to present this rubber waste stream to the recyclers. And on the other hand, there is the idea to provide waste producers a certification that their waste is recycled correctly for CSRD or ESG purposes, and potentially also these waste producers could even save money on waste processing, since this is expensive for rubber waste.
Normalement, c'est plutôt Greenway, non?
I hear some noise. Yeah. Okay.
Vous êtes votre micro, Sophie.
Okay, can I continue, please?
Yes.
In order to facilitate this circular economy of rubber waste, so both the post-industrial and post-consumer, we want to allow waste producers to present their waste streams on an online platform or a marketplace, and this allows recyclers to have. Yes, thank you. This allows recyclers to have insight in waste streams and to bid on them, and for us as a platform, we can measure the waste that is resolved through the platform. So the partner search, actually, we are looking for advice on how to build this marketplace, or with tools, or how to facilitate such information transaction, because it's like demanding and a question and answer, what people would like to offer and what they need. And all of this is in order to facilitate trading of rubber waste instead of incineration. So instead of let all the rubber go into the waste oven. So this partner could also be a technology provider or an experienced company from the industry. Thank you. This is idea number 1.
Thank you, Irene. Number 2.
Yes, the next slide. So the company profile, of course, is the same exactly. And so the second idea is that inside this rubber platform, we and some 100 partners produce and collect a lot of knowledge, and we would like to access it in a digital way and build, so to say, rubber dedicated ChatGPT. So the goal of that is to have the digital archiving and the digital organization of the information by using AI tools such as large language models. And amongst others, the result can be that can be used to train and to help new employees from our partner, or to develop new business cases, for example. And questions you may think of is can you recycle tennis balls, or how do you recycle your EPDM peroxide cure? So basic questions as well as very deep expert questions that are asked to the platform and are answered by means of the research papers. The idea there is to find an IT partner who is able to do the job, so to say, and build this LLM model and integrate it into our database in such a way that in the future we can support and feed this database ourselves.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There might be such a partner in the audience, Irene, most probably. Yeah. Have you seen any connection with the projects just presented?
The Cosmic is definitely one I wrote down as a potential one.
Okay, thank you so much. Then we see that Raphael is in the webinar at this moment, so we go back to Tidewise. Raphael, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Great, yes. Go on.
Okay, perfect. I think it was the phones. So yeah, we are Tidewise. We are a company based in Antwerp and in Brazil, in Rio, and we design and operate maritime robots for offshore and port applications. And we are looking for a partner for projects related to maritime autonomy. And the idea is to provide a fully uncrewed system operating beyond visual line of sight, which is a very critical challenge in terms of regulation, because different countries have different regulations to operations beyond visual line of sight. And we have this specific challenge for offshore wind and for offshore oil and gas of inspecting subsea cables and subsea pipelines using these fully uncrewed systems involving the integration of sensors such as multi-vehicle sounders, sub-bottom profilers, side-scan sonars mounted on the uncrewed vessel or on subsea vehicles like AUVs or ROVs. So our perfect partner would be offshore, a coastal, or a port operator looking for solutions that can increase the autonomy of their operations. So, which may help us to select the perfect sensor for their demand, and also to fund the operation specific dedicated to the location where they are operating. For example, if they are operating in high turbidity waters, which sensor would be the best for that kind of application, or for operating in very deep waters or shallow waters. So depends a lot on the context where the asset is included. And yeah, I think that's it. I can share with you later presentation of the company. And yeah, as I said before, we operate mostly with offshore energy, so offshore oil and gas or offshore wind.
Okay, Raphael, thank you for the presentation. It's in any case an important topic, the autonomy of port operations and offshore operations. So thank you for the challenge and the partner search and your presentation. I propose that we go to the next one, which is Confidi.
Goedemorgen. My name is Lars from Confidi.
Hi, Lars. Good morning.
Hi. Well, Confidi is based in Roeselaar, and we are focused on bringing diamond to mass applications. Everybody knows diamond from jewelry. And what we are looking at are pictures from the latest scientific publications on diamond. You see a diamond thermometer, you see a diamond laser, and you also see diamond quantum publication pictures on the right side. Well, what we are looking at is combining the knowledge that is there for processing diamond, especially in Antwerp, as everybody knows, and see how we combine the strength that are there in the new applications that are popping up all around the globe. And from that, we are going to set up a single point of contact as a company and work on the application of diamond and the processing of it application independent. And for that, we are looking at the implementation of all kinds of technology. Confidi itself is strong in laser processing diamond. We have the highest grade of automation in a global market, meaning that we can process diamond on a laser continuously 24/7. And we have also the highest quality in the market, meaning that our OEE, overall equipment effectivity, is more than 95%, meaning that 95% of the time the machine is doing what it should do. And we are looking at partners to grow basically a group of companies unified within the diamond market.
Okay, thank you, Lars. I also see that you are willing to engage in EU projects. Have you seen any connection with the projects just presented?
Well, what I've seen is especially for Magician and Cosmic, that there might be a possibility to look at the software part and innovation part, which is internally, not for the project that we are looking at setting up Diamond 365, but looking at incremental innovation in which we can increase accuracy of the system we build.
Okay. Good. Thank you so much, Lars. Interesting.
Thank you.
We have 2 more to go, so we are relatively well in time, I would say. The next one is Horizon World. Leon.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I deviated a bit from the template.
Indeed.
Horizon World, a no-coding 3D platform embracing neurodiversity. Next slide. Horizon World created a 3D VR platform that allows anyone to create VR experiences without the need of expensive coding. We focus on that and co-creation, visual learning, and non-linear ways of learning, and that all EU focused in our software and activities. But next slide. But before we go on to virtual reality, we have an endless focus on creating awareness for neurodiversity. Neurodiversity are all people in the world with their amazing brains. However, there is a difference in neurotypical persons being 80% of society and neurodivergent persons being 20%. But we attach medical labels to that, such as dyslexia, gifted, autism, and HCSE. And all school and company systems are normalized for those 80%. We normalize everyone as the monkey that needs to climb the tree, but we assess a fish on its performance to climb that same tree, while it's an excellent swimmer, but simply not good in climbing trees. Thus, we are leaving mostly behind the other 20%. And if you look to the dropouts in Europe at schools and in work, 60% of that has a neurodivergent brain. For instance, HCSD, we originally treat that as a disorder. We need to fix that with medicines. We put some Ritalin, etc. While it is a natural difference in basically brain wiring, which we should more include. Because there is nothing wrong, there's no disorder, it's a natural variation, and we are creating awareness for that. Next slide. If you look to retention in general, and then we go to the learning part, the cognition and retention with 3D. 2D content on a 2D interface Brilliant, fine. 3D content on a 2D interface, for instance, e-learning and WebXR, science has already shown that it's less okay. As a matter of fact, 50% of the people learn less in that way. If we put, which is more natural, 3D content on a 3D interface, basically everyone is better in that. If you look to the neurodivergent, so the 20% brains, almost 100% of them learn better with 3D. And the other 80% have the same differentiation with the 50%. In other words, you learn 4 times faster, and if you look to companies, much more performance for employees. Next slide. So what Horizon World does, we can rapid prototype in 3D by visual coding. You can create, you can add behavior to your 3D objects. But more important also, you do this together. You build it together no matter where you are on the world. As a matter of fact, this session we could have done in Horizon World. Next slide. A good example is, for instance, the University of Utrecht medical departments who are using our platform for anatomy lessons, and especially for the vets, but also in the normal medicines studies, how to disassemble, in this case, a dog leg. And what the nice thing is, you just select it, and in that way you can add behaviors to that, and they're really happy on that. Next slide. But how can we work together? We, of course, have a lot of knowledge on XR and VR, and we allow everyone to create their own experiences, and also a deep knowledge on neurodiversity. And that's for us important to work on in Europe. Next slide and last slide. So shape the world of learning together, embracing neurodiversity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leon. Very interesting story. Now we go to the last page presentation on eTrova or Trova, and I give the floor to Jan Brakke.
Just a second.
Wait a minute, yeah.
I need to mute. Is that okay now? No, you need to mute. Trova, I'm sitting here next to Gerrit, that's why you hear me double. That's simple as that. We're a Flemish company, Trova. We're wheels on the ground. We rebuild existing diesel trucks into electric trucks at a cost definitely about similar to a new diesel truck, whereas a new electric truck would cost about 2.5 times more expensive than a diesel truck. And maybe it's easier when you go to the next slide. Then I think I added 4 slides, Gert. No? Yeah, that prior one, this one. So the reason why we do this is the lower chart says, well, we need to have the energy transition in the transport world. That means by 2040, which is about 15 years from now, all transport should be gone with the diesel trucks and should all be electric. The problem with that is that an electric truck costs about 2.5 to 3 times more than an existing truck, and there's a lot of economical burden on the transport company. So this transition, which should be there, isn't happening. It is happening in the industry, it's happening in the domestic applications, it's not happening within the transport. And in the next slide, I suggest what we do. It's quite basic. You see on the left hand the diesel truck. We take off the diesel tanks, we take off the combustion engine, but we keep the major elements like the chassis, the axles, the cab, and we reuse that. So it's definitely a circular solution. And in the place where the diesel tanks hang, we hang the batteries. It's scalable, 2, 4, or 6 batteries. And we have an electromotor, a transmission, and we connect it to the prop shaft. That sounds all easy. In the front part, we have an auxiliary cradle because those electromotors don't need inverters. We need cooling systems. We need a electric compressor because we keep the old-fashioned brake system. Now, yeah, in the next slide is okay. The big challenge in all that is not the electromechanical parts, but it's connecting the existing systems, which is on the right side, the blue parts. They're in the original truck. We take out, the square blocks are really the controllers of the units. We take out the combustion engine and the controller goes away. We take out the transmission and the controller of that unit goes away. But we keep all that other things, like the dashboard controls, the braking system, the gear shifter, etc. And we add the green parts, which are on the left, a motor, a battery management system, another dashboard. And those need to still cooperate together. That's why we need an additional control unit. That's the VCU in the middle. And we have a proprietary software managing all that. The problem is the blue system, the bridge system, the only thing you get from an original truck is the wiring design. You don't get the software nor the CAN bus signals. So we have a system to reverse engineer that. We built a software based on the data we captured like that. We need to have a safe operating truck. There's ISO regulations for that to make sure that software is okay. We've built 2 trucks. They are homologated. One is sold and is in operation here in Belgium. And we're building currently our 3rd truck. We've done this with a Volvo, and the challenge is now to make it multi-brand, and that's where the call is upon on the support is about. To make this software versatile, we want to use AI approach to get this more in a quick way, to do the reverse engineering AI supported, and to make all the connection with all the controllers very versatile and flexible, not only towards different brands, but also towards different components of motors, battery systems, and so on. So, and in that respect, really work towards a software-defined truck and challenge the classical OEM truck business. I didn't write this on here, but there was an earlier explanation on document management, which is a challenge as well. To homologate a truck, we base ourselves on the homologations of the base truck. That's a ton of information, all in PDFs and so big binder. And out of that, we need to make a homologation document. And that's where AI would also come in to manage all that diversity in document. Thank you for your attention.
Yeah. I think, Jan, it was FlashTag, so maybe you can connect and try.
Yeah, FlashTag, that's what it is. I know it. Yeah.
Yeah, I made a note, so.
Okay, Jan, thank you so much for your presentation. I think it was FlashTag who was talking about AI and document management, so maybe you can connect and talk to each other. That was the last pitch presentation. Let me see. We have 3 minutes time for a Q&A session. Are there any questions at the moment on the projects, on the pitches, on the testimonial from RoboTwin, on the eddies? Any questions or remarks? Okay, then we go to almost the last slide. So here you will find a few links. So the links to the projects of Magician, Cosmic, and Wasabi, the websites. There is also a general Cascade funding portal where you can find a lot more open calls on this topic. So that can also be very useful to find other projects. When you want to go into next steps, of course, in the matchmaking, you can contact the companies you find interesting via the contact person. If you want to get help from an Eddy in connecting to some kind of a project or in matchmaking or whatever, then you can contact the people here. They are all in the webinar. And for other countries, you can, of course, always contact your regional or local Eddy contact person and consult the catalog of Eddies in order to do that. So thank you so much for participating in the webinar. I would like to wish you a very good day, and hopefully it was inspiring and informative to get you connected and get you going and have your project file in one of the Cascade funded EU projects. Thank you so much, and see you in one of the next webinars.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.